Andrew, welcome to the podcast. This is Marketing MindFuel. I am Bjorn Piltingsrud with Essential Engine. I'm the VP of Strategy and Business Development based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a great day today. Andrew, where are you based out of?
Bjorn, I'm VP Strategy with Essential Engine, and I am out of beautiful Philadelphia, where it is cloudy, rainy, but yet an absolutely beautiful day.
I feel like we need, this is where Bruce Buffer should be coming in and giving us the, it's time. That's what I'm feeling that, because we probably do have tens or 20s of, or maybe thousands, not thousands of people tuning in. Anyways, welcome. Again, my name is Bjorn. This is the Marketing MindFuel podcast. So what is Marketing MindFuel and why did we name it that? That way, and really Marketing MindFuel is all about finding that rhythm of marketing that will continue to fuel your business on a consistent basis, so that it's not all about just let's go generate leads, let's do this big viral post, or let's do this big campaign, because that, those are big explosion points, but they don't fuel ongoing marketing or ongoing success in your marketing. And so that's why, that's why we called it Marketing MindFuel. And I think it fits for what we do. Today's podcast is going to be pretty much just an introduction to who we are, why we're here, what we have to talk about. We won't talk about too many things about the overall business, because I don't know. Besides my mom, who's probably listening, there's probably not a lot of people who know much about me or much about Andrew. I'll give you a little bit of background on myself, and then Andrew, I'll throw it over to you. Does that make sense?
Awesome. Love it.
All right. So, like I said, I am based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Been here, was born here. And I have two kids. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 15-year-old. He's going to, my son, 17, will be going into his senior year of high school. And my daughter is 15. She'll be a sophomore in high school. I'm married, been married to my junior high sweetheart, if you can believe that, Andrew. Junior high, we were in a one-room schoolhouse. We actually weren't in a one-room schoolhouse, but... That's the only reason I always say, if we were in the only way I got to marry my wife or go out with my wife when we were in junior high is because she didn't have many options. So that's my story with her. But I think we've celebrated 27 years of marriage at this point. So it's been it's been awesome. So I started my career at a life insurance company, Reliastar Life in Minneapolis, and worked on a lot of really cool projects. We were the first life insurance company to purchase a bank. And I worked on that project, and eventually we got bought by ING. And then kind of once we were acquired by ING, I was traveling to Atlanta a lot, and 9/11 happened, and then had to kind of throw my shingle out on my own with my business partner. And that's when we started 5-Star Professional 25 years ago in 2001. And then, we'll give, maybe we'll a little tease for a future podcast. We'll maybe go through the origin story there, but happy that we started that 25 years ago. We've evolved, changed our name to Essential Engine back in 2021. And here we are doing a podcast with you, Andrew. I didn't think that I did not project that 25 years ago. If you can believe that. I did not have that on my bingo card.
You did not have this on your bingo card, no. My man.
25 years, but anyways, that's kind of in a nutshell. I love to ski. I'm a big skier. My kids are big skiers. We're big into sports. We lots of soccer in our household, lots of football in our household. So we do lots of things. We try to be active, especially here in Minnesota when it gets cold in the winter. That's why we ski. So I'll throw it over to you, Andrew. Give us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. So I'm Andrew Saksa, as I mentioned, VP Strategy here at Essential Engine. Or strategic channels, I should say. And I got to tell you, Bjorn, I am beyond excited about this. And congratulations, too, to your son kicking the longest field goal yesterday at the tryouts. That's a big moment. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. Just to share a little bit of background on me. Born and raised in Southern California, lived in Arizona for 20 years, Orlando, Florida for 10 years. I've been up here in Philly now for about 16 years. And I, too, am married. Been married to my beautiful wife now for 18 years. We met on Match.com. Not as cool as a one-room schoolhouse, but there is definitely a fun story there to be shared. So we'll share that at some point in time down the road. But anyway, long story short, we've got 4 kids. 3 of them are up here in Philadelphia. One's down in Georgia. And I love this industry. I've been involved in this industry since I was 19 years old as a young, wet behind the ears stockbroker with E.F. Hutton back in 1986. For those of you that actually remember E.F. Hutton, great brand, great organization. Spent 15 years in the industry, doing all kinds of stuff. $1 million producer for Hartford. So I've got a little bit of background in financial services, a little bit of background in insurance. But at the end of the day, I've spent the last 10 years doing nothing but helping financial advisors, insurance agents, real estate professionals grow their practice. And I got to tell you, Bjorn, just like you, man, I guess when you add it all up, we're at like 35 years of working with financial advisors, insurance agents, real estate professionals, and nobody does anything for a year, 2 years, much less 35 years, unless you're absolutely committed and passionate about helping folks. And that really is our strength. So I'm so excited about this podcast because I think we're going to be able to bring lots and lots of great years and years of experience working with thousands of financial professionals, real estate professionals, just like you guys, hopefully in the audience. And we are absolutely committed to help you guys grow that practice. So Bjorn, I'm just excited that we're here, man. I too don't know if I had this on my my bingo card going back 25 years ago, but man, I'm glad we got here now, and I'm really excited for this opportunity to help folks.
So, we work today in our business. I should have maybe said that. We work with insurance agents. We work with financial advisors. We work with real estate agents. We work with mortgage professionals. So we work with a lot of industries where there's like a high risk transaction that's going to occur, but there's like imperfect information. And I think that's been a fun area to work in. As we were, thinking about our podcast and like what's it going to be about, and we were talking about like, well, it's obviously going to be about marketing, but it can't be about, because we are not about just generating a lead. We are not about a transaction. We're not trying to this. If you're looking for lead generation strategies, right, this is probably not going to be necessarily the podcast for you. If that's all you want to talk about is how do I get my next lead? Because I think I've noticed in my experience, oftentimes business owners, and I'm a serial entrepreneur, I have other businesses. This is not my only business, but like we get so focused on growing revenue by generating a new client, by generating a new customer. And it's like, I always think to myself, how many customers are falling off the back of the truck because I'm not staying connected with them and I'm not doing the things that I should be doing on a regular basis to just keep my existing customers that I've worked so hard to bring on already. And I think those are the strat. So if you're someone who wants to grow your business, right, and you're looking for ways of growing your business that include lead generation, it's not like we're not going to talk about lead generation because I think we have some great ideas on lead generation. But if you're looking for, I'm looking for strategies and tactics of how I do the everyday or how I get the everyday marketing done in my business, then this is probably going to be a podcast for you. I think that people kind of get overwhelmed by, which postcard should I send or which list should I buy of people who are turning 65 or people who are, likely home buyers or likely home sellers. And the reality is, I think a lot of the secret to the success is probably already baked into the people you already work with. And so I don't know if you have an example, Andrew, of a time when you've seen someone out there in the world who's stayed connected with you and how that's maybe like opened up other doors, opened up other avenues, either to you or to them in terms of generating new business or things like that. Do you have any stories or experience that you can point to that would show that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, boy, I tell you, you hit the nail right on the head, right? Raise your hand if you believe you're in a relationship business. I always seem to start off a lot of those conversations that way. So if you're home, and if you feel like playing, raise that hand, right? So, but of course, right, we're all in the relationship business. And Bjorn, one of my number one statistics that I've come across over the years, obviously we work with thousands of insurance agents. And when it comes to the insurance business, it's funny. There was a study that was done not too long ago, actually, that showed that 80% of clients left their agent over the course of the last 16 months for one reason and one reason only. They didn't feel like they were getting meaningful communication with that agent over the course of the last year and a half. And boy, that is the key to success, right? I mean, when it really comes down to it, yes, where's your best lead going to come from? Your best warm lead for new business is going to come from your existing client. Not only is it important to have consistent communication there with your existing client base so that you retain the business, right? First and foremost, we got to retain what we have, right? We don't want these guys falling off the back of the truck, like Bjorn said. But more importantly, let's face it, every single one of your clients, guys, I don't care what business you're in. I don't care if you're an insurance agent. I don't care if you're a financial advisor. I don't care if you're a real estate professional. I don't care if you own a business, a small business. Every single one of your clients right now, I promise you, they all know 3 or 5 people that are just like them. They have the same amount of assets. They value your client's opinion, or they wouldn't hang out together. Birds of a feather truly do flock together. And at the end of the day, the only thing that you're missing to bring them on board, to be able to help them with their needs, is just one thing. You got to be liked. You got to be known. You got to be trusted. That's actually 3 things, but what the heck? It's early in the morning here. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, no, that liked, trusted and known, right? I think about that, and I think about where I think a lot of marketing fails, and that I think it fails because it doesn't feel personal, right? It doesn't feel, how can I know, like, and trust someone if I don't really know who they are and what makes them tick? And for me in my world, this is 25 years ago, right? My objective was I have some business objectives and the core problems that I'm going to try to solve for my customers and their customers. And then as I'm out selling that, right, even myself, right, I could feel myself trying to be Gumby. So like, I don't even know if Gumby is still around. Is Gumby still around?
I have a Gumby in my office somewhere. I should find him.
For anyone who doesn't know, like, right, Gumby is like, you move them around and like make them do whatever, like, positions you want them to be, the little thing to be in. But I felt like if you wanted me to be a left-handed marketer, I'll be a left-handed marketer. If you want me to jump 3 feet high and tell you that I'm a high jumper, like I'll jump 4 feet high and tell you that I'm a high jumper. But none of that was, I mean, just to be honest, none of that was real, right? It wasn't that it was inaccurate or not true, but it just wasn't the true me. And I think over the last 25 years, as I've been working to build the business, I've had to continue to be less Gumby like and just be me, but be me in a way that allows me to form these personal connections with my partners, my employees, my customers, right? And so opening yourself up to, not talking about anything related to anything controversial, like maybe which beer you drink or don't drink or whatever, but like, what do you like to do? Because that's everybody deals with things. Everybody, can relate to having a bad day. Everyone can relate to going on vacation. Everyone can relate to, celebrating birthdays, for example, which is still one thing that most people don't know. They don't know my birthday because I don't like to tell people that. But everybody can relate to those things. And then when they can relate, then you start to build trust, right? So that's part of the way you build trust is by opening yourself up, letting people know a little bit about you. But that's something that it's taken me a long time to learn, because I'm like, in sales, I was like, well, I'm going to do whatever you think I should be doing in order to get that sale. And if you like left-handed people, I'm going to try to be left-handed for you. Does that make sense? I don't know, Andrew. That's just what I've experienced over time.
Yeah, they teach almost every salesperson, right? You got to be a chameleon. But I tend to agree with you. I mean, you really and truly, you got to be you, man. You got to be authentic. Again, we'll tease for future episodes. Guys, you definitely want to stay tuned for future episodes where we get a chance to share our A plus A equals T. So stay tuned. Going to be a great episode on that.
We should give away one of those A's. So that's our marketing success formula. So marketing success formula, A plus A equals T. And one of those A's stands for authenticity, right? So that's what we're talking about here, is being authentic. And being authentic is something that you gotta show up. So you gotta be consistent, right? You have to always be willing to have the honest and truthful conversation. You have to be vulnerable. I mean, these are all the things that, if you want to be authentic and not just a chameleon, but you want to show that you're human, right? That you're not just a robot who has like great expertise in real estate or great expertise in financial advisory or Medicare or something like that, but really, obviously you have to have that. But how can you be authentic in a way that grabs onto people? And I think those are where you make those biggest personal, big personal connections, I guess. Andrew, have you seen any ways that any studies or any reports that talk about how people become known or people become aware of someone in their marketplace or something like that?
Yes, for sure. Obviously, there's tons of great studies on that. We can definitely feature some of those. I'm going to give you the real life example, right? You and I have been in this business now for quite a while, and we've worked with thousands of agents, thousands of financial advisors. One of our tools is an absolutely beautiful magazine. Guys, definitely check out our stuff. But the number one thing that I've heard over 10 years doing this is when a financial advisor would take maybe a picture with them with their kids or a picture with them with their dog or their cat and feature it in the inside cover of the magazine. It is by far the number one way. Talk about being authentic. Guys, you want to have real engagement with your client? Man, do something like that. Just be a little bit creative. Don't be afraid to share maybe that you do have a little puppy dog. You just brought a little puppy dog into your life. Man, you will be shocked at the number of people that will just reach out to you because they also have a Labradoodle or whatever the heck that thing is, right? I mean, holy cow, it's crazy. I'm sure you've seen that and heard that for years doing this. That's by far one of my favorite things.
Oftentimes the things that get you the biggest response from a client isn't because you have, maybe it's because you can get everyone into SpaceX, on the IPO price, but really it's those personal things that everyone can relate to, because they've already hired you to be the expert, right? They've already hired you because you're your stuff. But like, you get I didn't know you had a Labradoodle, or hey, I didn't know you had a grandbaby, right? Or hey, I didn't know you were going to Florida or Texas or California, or you were going to the World Cup game or something like that. That's when people can start to relate to you. And this is the amazing part to me. So in sales, right, you want to, at the end of the day, as salespeople, we want to make a sale, right? That's our objective that we probably measure ourselves at the end. But that's a transaction, right? And so if you have that conversation about the Labradoodle or about soccer, yeah, it's sometimes not like a direct line from, okay, I say this and I'm going to get a sale, but like you can use those personal connections as a way to bring up questions that you want to bring up that will potentially lead to a sale or a deepening or broadening of that relationship in the future. So not that the Labradoodle, I'm not sure on, but like, a grandbaby is a great example of like, let's just use that as an example. If you knew that someone had a grandbaby, let's say you had that conversation, or you said, hey, I just had a grandbaby, and one of your clients reaches out and says, hey, congratulations. You start talking about that, and then you can transition as a real estate agent thinking about, like, is it possible that I need different space? Has my space changes needed, right? Is it do I want to be closer to that grandbaby, or do I want to be further from the grandbaby? Or if you're a financial advisor, right, you might be thinking about maybe you start up a 529 for that grandbaby or something. So those personal nuggets that come out through those connections, that's the way that you generate the sale that's organic and brings the relationship to a deeper level, as opposed to calling you up, Andrew, and saying, hey, I got a house I think you should look at, or hey, I've got a new Medicare plan I think you should look at, or do you want to do your asset allocation, right? I understand that a lot of times that's what people want to talk about, because they see that being that immediate sale. But I think if you can use that personal connection to then bring up the opportunity to sell something, that's how marketing can really be effective, from my perspective.
100%. And I'll even flip it over to social media, right? Because we do all kinds of stuff over here. We're going to help you out with physical tools. We're going to help you out with social media. There's all kinds of great ways to work with us to be able to help you grow your business. But when you think about social media, so many people that I know, so many financial advisors, so many insurance agents and real estate professionals that we work with, they always want to just take their social media page and make it all about business. And guys, I am here to tell you that is the number one mistake you can make in your business when it comes to social media. If you flip that, if you change it so that 80% of the stuff that you're posting on social media has nothing to do with your business and has everything to do with the World Cup that's going on, your family. Again, like Bjorn was talking about, maybe you just had a little grandbaby, or you brought a little pet into the family, and you share that stuff. I mean, you guys tell us in the comments, right? I mean, how many times do you get way greater engagement by sharing that little photo of you with your kids at the ball game versus you posting something about your new listing, changes in the CMS rules for 2026. I mean, guys, we get it. You're passionate about your business, or you wouldn't be in that business. We understand it. We got it. But I promise you, your clients are not nearly as passionate about the new CMS rules as you guys are. They are much more passionate about their family, their occupation, their recreation, their dreams. Connect with that. And guys, I promise you, you will literally turn a client into a raving fan for your business. And that's not really what it's all about, but it definitely is the point of why we're having this conversation here today, is we want to help you take these incredible clients that you've worked so hard to bring on board and strengthen the relationship to literally turn them into the biggest raving fan for your business that you've ever met, that you never have to buy another lead. All you're doing is working with all those referrals that are being sent your way. And it starts with you being a real human being, that authentic human being that people want to work with.
I think that's great. Should we change directions here? Maybe talk a little bit about what we got coming up, like what we're planning to do, what's coming. Tease a little bit. Should we do some teasing? So
love it.
It's not just going to be you and me every time, is it? That would be. We're gonna get some guests, right? We're not going to announce any guests here, but we're going to get some guests. And it's not going to be my wife. It's not going to be your wife. But I think we are going to bring on maybe we'll bring on some relationship experts. Talk about, because I think that's important to walk through. Probably bring on some industry experts. Might even bring on some just greater personalities. But I think guests are going to be something we're going to do. Topics that we're going to be covering are really going to get into, putting the real life actions that you can take on a daily basis. I think Andrew and I are both kind of fans of Tony Robbins. And so every day, right, one of the things that we try to do is, did we take an action today? Did we take an action today that pushed the business forward? That's a key point that Tony Robbins likes to make, is that inaction is probably the worst thing that you can do, right? It's like if you're not taking an action, then you're going nowhere. You're in neutral, and that's not how you drive your business forward. We're going to talk about staying top of mind, how you do that without getting making it your full-time job. Because like you can post a lot, Andrew, and then you're like, well, now I feel like all I'm doing is posting, or I'm posting on social media. So it's like it can't turn into your total job. We'll talk about probably like digital versus, I guess, analog, or print versus digital. We'll probably talk about seminars. We'll talk about, I think those are the things we're gonna be covering over the course of the next however long this lasts. Maybe it's only 5 episodes. Let's hope it's not. Let's hope it's longer than 5 episodes. But I think that's where we're gonna take the show. Andrew, I wanted to always knock out and carve out a little bit of time on every podcast. You are a legend in the industry, and you're such an incredible salesperson, right? You just know what to say at the right moments. And I wanted to carve out some time for you on every podcast to give you what I like alliteration, so I'm gonna call it the Saksa's 70 seconds of selling. And give you an opportunity just to put some ideas in our listeners' minds. This is Marketing MindFuel. Put some ideas of our listeners' minds of something some action that they could take if they wanted to take some action today with us. And guess what? If you don't want to take action with us, you can take action with someone else too. But all right, I'm going to put you on the clock, and I'm going to give you 70 seconds of selling with Saksa. Go.
Awesome. So guys, everybody's heard you got to be an active listener, right? And I will tell you, all good sales comes from one place. You've got to be able to listen to what your client actually needs, and then not just address those needs, but really take that pain point out of their life, right? Make it so that that's no longer a thing. So with a lot of folks today, I just want you to think about how can I improve my active listening? And I'll tell you how I did it. So the way I did it is I actually became a grief facilitator for an organization called New Hope for Kids. And part of my job was to actually listen to what the kids would say about how they lost their parent, repeat that back word for word to them, and then move on. So guys, if you want to practice becoming a great active listener, you don't have to tell your spouse, you don't have to tell your kids you're doing it, but just try it. Listen to them for a couple minutes, repeat back everything that they say word for word, and I promise it will help you become a better active listener. So if you want to increase sales, you got 2 ears, you got 1 mouth, use those ears.
You were 10 seconds over, but I loved it.
Sorry.
I loved it. You did. Well, I wasn't going to cut you off because it was so good. 10 seconds over. Okay. That's going to be a wrap on our first podcast. Andrew, congratulations.
I'm excited for Tony Robbins being our guest. That is going to be incredible.
Did you just say that? Yeah, please don't say that. We're gonna get phone calls.
Oh, no.
I didn't drop any four letter words, which was my big fear. So I made it through that. At least I don't think I did. But I would just like to say thank you so much to my family for subscribing. You're probably the first 10 to 20 subscribers. Friends, family, thank you so much. Hope you will like, share it, subscribe, let people know that we're out here doing this, and I'd love to see you on the next episode later on. This is Bjorn signing off.
This is Andrew Saksa. Have a great week, guys.
Thank you for listening to Marketing MindFuel. Hit follow so you never miss a conversation built to help you propel your relationships, your authority, and your long-term business growth. To learn more about 5-Star Professional and Essential Engine, visit essentialengine.com. Connect with Bjorn and Andrew on LinkedIn for more relationship-driven marketing insights. Until next time, stay connected, stay visible, and keep building trust. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional before making a decision.